Rehoboth, Fayette, Malvern, and Madrid. You guys all need to be in your safe spots. We've got a large and an extremely dangerous tornado on the ground. As you can see, it confirmed the large and extremely dangerous tornado is on the ground. So, if you can get underground from this storm, that could be the caliber of storm here that we're dealing with that could completely destroy a house, knock down the walls, and take off the roof. That's the kind of tornado we're talking about potentially here. So I would certainly be in that most interior portion of your house in the lowest floor possible. Wrap yourself in with a blanket, put a helmet on, put some elbow pads on, some knee pads if you got it, and get in that central portion of your house. Because again, this storm most likely is a large and extremely dangerous tornado in progress, which is, when you get those weak tornadoes, throws a couple of branches, a couple of twigs around, but we're talking about a storm here that can take off the roof of your house, knock down some of your walls. If you don't want to be lifted into the tornado, your best shot is to be in that most central portion of that house. You need to be getting your family, your kids, your pets, if you can, into that room with you. If you live in Esto, Graceville, High-Note, you still have enough time to get that done. But again, we're not talking about some weak tornado here. This is a large and extremely dangerous tornado.
Those fire icons on the map, they represent current
area of rotation is right here, still in the
fire
signature. Heading into Esto and Norma.
Bigger icons.
Esto and Norma still needs to be in your safe spots. That's the latest here. I would take this storm very seriously as the bottom line. This isn't going to be like one of your little bird park Florida tornadoes where you expect a little bit of that little scuddy-looking tornado that, maybe, breaks down a couple of limbs and throws your fence around, and maybe a couple lawn furniture gets thrown around, and maybe a couple windows break. This is very well could be a tornado that is ruining lives at this moment. So you don't want to second guess this. You don't want to go outside and wait and try to see if this is coming. All right, it's just best to be in your safe spots. Stay there. All right, take a deep breath, breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Get your action plan in place. If you can't get your license, don't worry about it. You can always replace your license. You can always replace your birth certificate. If you're having trouble finding anything other than your kids or your husband or your pets, don't worry about it. All right, just get your kids, husband, pets, or wife, brothers, sisters into that safe spot. Maybe even neighbors. You got a neighbor nearby and you have a tornado shelter and they don't, give them a call. Say, come on over. All right. Because they still have time. Even if you live in High-Note, Esta, and Noma, if your neighbor doesn't have a safe spot, but you do, they still have time. Latest scan over here near Ada Crossroads. Still, Ada Breeze signature. It does seem like the velocity signature might be a little bit of a weaker look here, but just given the fact that we still have the Breeze signature ongoing, still could be an extremely dangerous tornado heading into the Holland Crossroads area, so I would still be sheltered in place there and near Esto as well. And this is in Florida, here northwest of Chippewa, Florida, about to cross over the Florida-Alabama border. Our closest camera to the storm right now is this camera right here. As you can see, can't really see much, but unfortunately, I hate to say it. Actually, let me get it set up here. Since we're over here, we got a lot of cameras in the Dothan area. Lots of cameras. So I hate to say it, but if this thing is still producing a tornado near Dothan, Alabama, we will unfortunately be able to see it. Or not. Maybe it looks like there's a tornado in Dothan, but we can use the cameras to see that there isn't a tornado. But yeah, as you can see, there's Dothan. We have tons of cameras in the area. I will say this storm's going to make a pretty close approach to Dothan, so I would not be surprised if Dothan gets put into a tornado warning. So just be ready to go to your safe spots there in Dothan. This storm will probably try to recycle at some point. If it does lose its main area of circulation here in any moment, it could easily recycle like we have seen multiple times with this storm. So next, though, in line, and immediately in line, it's going to be High-Note, Esto, Noma here in Florida. And you guys still need to be seeking shelters. Sirens are going off in Dothan. Yeah, that might be for like your county, but technically downtown Dothan, unless like Mullins is considered Dothan, or like or like Spring Valley Acres or Ward Acres is considered Dothan, it could be. But the downtown area, like where 84 and 231 and 431 kind of circle Dothan, anywhere inside of there and just a little bit on the outside, you guys are not necessarily in the tornado warning yet. But I do feel like they will eventually extend this if we are still seeing some dangerous rotation, which definitely seems possible at this point. It could turn towards Dothan. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not. It wouldn't have to technically turn towards Dothan. It is just naturally going very. It's tracking in a path. See, our storm arrows are pointed in this area, and that is pointing right at Dothan. So the most dangerous portion of the storm is going to come towards Dothan. Now the big question is, does it still have strong rotation by the time it gets to Dothan? If it completely falls apart and doesn't reorganize, you're not going to see a new extension of a tornado warning. But if it, continues to produce a tornado all the way from here into Dothan, or it, lifts this tornado and then eventually reforms a tornado back over here north of Graceville, then we're going to have some issues there in Dothan. So technically, you don't need to be in your safe spots there yet, but I can definitely see a scenario where you will have to be in your safe spot if this storm continues to look dangerous. Let's come back over here and check in our latest scans. There is still a tornado on the ground here, and unfortunately is going directly into Holling Crossroads as we speak. And it's going to make a very close approach to Esto and Noma here in Florida. Looks like you guys are going to be the ones getting impacted by this unless this thing occludes up towards High Note. So I still want High Note, Florida to continue to be in shelter as this storm approaches. Yeah, it's latched onto the warm front, I believe. And it's been latched on it pretty much its entire life. It's kind of just a storm in a perfect spot here to take advantage to all of this atmosphere can provide. Unfortunately, what will these mergers do? Hopefully, these mergers introduce a lot of cooler air into the inflow and completely stop the storm from rotating. We do have two mergers inbound, one about to pull into it here north of Graceville. Actually, there was already a merger that interacted with the storm, which might have already done a little bit of a number to the circulation. But as you can see, it's still producing a tornado. So it's not completely stopping yet, but we got another merger coming into it. When a merger comes into the inflow like this, what essentially the storm is going to introduce is a lot of rain-cooled air. It's kind of getting slung around the backside, and that will get slung into the inflow, which should cut this storm off and cause this tornado to lift here shortly. But sometimes
live traffic
it does that, and then sometimes it rewraps back up in between mergers. So I would just continue to be in your safe spots until this tornado is and the storm itself and the rotation itself is non-threatening anymore. Looks like we just got our new correlation coefficient, and we are still seeing debris over here near Holling Crossroads, about to cross into Esto and Noma, Florida. So this is still a tornado on the ground, just about to cross over the Alabama-Florida border. Yeah, the rear flank is cranking. Absolutely. We have seen this rear flank downdraft.
The National Weather Service in Tallahassee
right back here. That is the
thunderstorm
rear flank
warning
downdraft. The
affecting
tornado
southern
is
Dale.
located here, so they're technically separate things. So the Holling Crossroads could be getting the core of this tornado, but on the outside of it, there have been up to 80 to 100 mile per hour winds just in the rear flank downdraft. So damage could also be associated with the rear flank downdraft itself if you live in Noma Junction and just north of Noma Junction, away from the main core of the tornado. But we'll see where this thing ends up tracking. It looks like it's going to go right in between Esto and Noma, but if it takes a little bit of a jog to the west or a little bit of a jog to the east, it's going to hit those areas directly. So I would still be in your safe spots. This is going to make a very close approach, and it's going to be there within the next couple of minutes. And still PDS warned at the moment. Yeah, it's about to cross the state line. Yeah, probably within the next 5-10 minutes. So this is about to be a Florida storm turning into an Alabama storm here. We do want to check down to the south. This is like literally our only storm which is crazy. You know, we did have a 5% tornado risk out here, but unfortunately, you know, and it is kind of a 5% tornadic environment because, you know, you can never really tell. Yeah, look at that. Debris signature is getting a little bit tighter yet again and a little bit stronger there near Esto and Norma Junction. So we still definitely have a tornado on the ground in Esto, in Noma, right now in Florida. What about Georgia?
Yeah.
It really just depends. Really just depends. Do any of these cells actually organize out here? Or is it just going to be this storm that's latched onto this warm frontal boundary? And is this going to be our only tornado threat? Not really sure. It just depends on what these storms can do. Sometimes we know a little bit. Sometimes it is a little bit uncertain. It's not done yet. Yeah, no, I don't think it's done yet. No. And in fact, this merger has just come in and increased that rotation. So it seems like this storm is ingesting these mergers and still able to keep a tornado on the ground, which is not good. Yeah, I mean, that rotation is almost as strong as it was before. I mean, we got 94. And I mean, that's potentially the strongest area of rotation we've almost seen with this storm since it started. 94 miles per hour, right next to 38. That would be about 125 VROT, 130 VROT, which would be about 65 or 130 gate to gate, and a 65 mile per hour VROT, which would put this right back, you know, into some of the strongest it has been. Just went through Esto and Noma. So watch out. Still potentially a large and extremely dangerous tornado now going through Esto and Norma, about to cross over the Alabama border. And next in line here in Alabama is going to be Fayette and Slocum. I'm also going to change my YouTube title to put extremely dangerous tornado on the ground now in Alabama, because this storm is now is about to be in the next couple of, or in the next scan, in Alabama problem. So yeah, you can see right here, there's your border, Florida and Alabama. Here's your Georgia, Alabama border. You see we got Dothan right there, Ashford there, Midland City a little bit further up to the north. And you can see right over here, just to the east of Esto, we have a strong area of circulation with still a deep debris signature. And you can still see that debris signature picking up here on our radar, on our reflectivity as well, indicating that this is a dangerous storm at the moment. Let me see how far up this debris goes. Yeah, not really helpful there. Do I have any live cameras views of this tornado? I will if it makes it into Dothan, but we don't have anything at the moment. We've got a live camera view back over on the northern part of this road. I've been going back to it every now and then just to see if we can see anything out in the distance. We haven't been able to catch anything yet.
Go check up on
We do have a lot of cameras in Dothan, and this storm is going to make a close approach to Dothan. Unfortunately, if it can keep that rotation and tornado on the ground, it will become a problem for Dothan. So I can see them extending this tornado warning into Dothan if it can make it to like Slocum with some decent rotation still. Is there a second one to the east of these mergers? No, there's no dangerous rotations anywhere near this storm right now. Our main one is still this area of circulation, which is now directly on the Alabama and Florida border, still with a tornado on the ground. I mean, this, I think, is officially a long track tornado. I think we're dealing with a long track and extremely dangerous tornado, which again, this environment just by itself, not really that kind of environment, but you got a storm here tapping into the shear environment and latched onto a warm front and has local vorticity from a low pressure system that is back out over in this region. Everything's just kind of lined up perfectly for this storm to be a prolific and strong tornado producer. And unfortunately, these things do happen, which again is why I keep my show as simple as possible, so we can just issue these live streams ASAP, get that information out, and we don't have to worry about, calling a bunch of employees or calling a bunch of, sponsorships to make sure that we're ready for the stream, or all that kind of stuff. We don't have to worry about all that. We can just go live as soon as we can. And I'm glad we did because, wow, this storm is overperforming. It is dangerous. If you guys live out in Fedette, you guys do need to continue to be in your safe spots. This is still potentially a large and extremely dangerous tornado crossing now north of Noma, heading into Fedette. There are no chasers on it. No storm chasers on this storm right now. This is this event that we are witnessing here, this tornado threat that we are witnessing here. It wasn't even a 5% until this morning. But it became evident this morning that, we might have a little bit of an unexpected problem. And as you can see, something happened, unfortunately, which happens. The environment in general, we're in an omega block. It's supposed to be quiet, and it is, to be fair, across most of the United States. We look at the satellite, not a whole lot going on, but we kind of have a little subtropical type low pressure system down here. It's very reminiscent of what a dying or a very weak tropical low would produce, which is a local area of vorticity in its northeastern quadrant, and potentially a warm front for storms to latch onto, which is what we're seeing here. It's very tropical-like environment. Yeah, latest scan with this storm, it is now over here north of Norma, still with a debris signature. Still waiting on the latest one. Let's see what this radar is looking like. Yeah, it's like both radars are indicating the same thing. Is this one now closer? It might be closer. They're pretty much equidistant from the storm. But we'll keep it on the same radar just because we're all used to that same color. But as it gets closer to Dothan, we are going to have to switch to that radar. Where is this headed? It's headed pretty close to Dothan. This is going to make a pretty close approach to Dothan if these mergers don't completely ruin this storm's ability to produce. And in fact, these mergers, if they can mature before they even get to the storm, could eventually be their own tornado threat over here near Graceville.
Yeah, that's what the storm.
Again, if you guys live here in the southeastern portion of Alabama, near Dothan or south of Dothan, we've got a pretty tornadic storm. Again, this is a PDS, large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground at this moment. So you guys need to be seeking shelter, preferably underground if you can. Again, just your typical tornado warning doesn't really mean this, right? It means we think a tornado could be imminent. When it's tornado observed, it's usually, we think that it could, that it's on the ground and it's probably causing some damage, but not really significant damage. But when you get into that PDS category, then you're talking again about roofs, walls being ripped off or pushed over. So again, this is the kind of tornadic storm here that you're going to want to be in your safe spots for. But I will say, our latest scan coming in here is definitely weaker than our last couple of scans. But again, we've seen this multiple times. This storm cycles and cycles very quickly. So it might not be a large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground at this point, but it was just moments ago. And it could easily re-wrap back up. I mean, we still definitely have a tornado on the ground. So it really doesn't matter of its strength because it's going to fluctuate as we go into the future here, especially since we are getting mergers coming into this storm. But we can still definitely tell we have a tornado on the ground north of 85. Just went through, unfortunately, a couple of houses out here, which friggin' sucks. Not going to lie. It's gone through, it's not super populated out here, but it has gone through a couple of populations out here. And we're most likely dealing with a lot of people's lives that just got ruined with this storm. So, you don't want to be that kind of person that's just like, let's go outside and wait for this to happen. All right. Just get your family in the safe spots and just stay there until the storm passes. Folks that can come out of their safe spots, if you is over here in Esto, Noma, Holland, Ards Crossroads, Tyndall Crossroads, Graceville. I'd still be in your safe spots just in case this tornado this storm over here tries to spit out a random weak tornado. I think it's a low probability, but just in case. I mean, you are in the tornado warning. Might as well just stay there for a little bit longer. Bethlehem, Florida can also come out of their safe spots as well. Could we see this recycling again as it approaches Georgia? Yeah, technically. I mean, it's going to be riding that warm front, and that warm front should continue to lift. Giving its current path, it could come pretty close to Blakely eventually. I mean, this thing has been a pretty prolific tornado producer. It produced 2 tornadoes back over here near Ponce de Leon, kind of took a break near Caryville, and then it's been on the ground since north of Caryville into the southern Alabama area. So, latest scan, though, I will say that's looking a little bit better. It might have briefly lifted here, or it has still a weaker tornado on the ground at this moment near Fayette. That rotation does not look nearly as strong as it was. So it does seem like these mergers are finally potentially making an impact on the storm, but do not let your guard down. We've seen this storm, unfortunately, when it was over here north of Caryville. I'll show you guys what that rotation was looking like. We'll come back over to here 30 scans ago. And this is why I want you guys to still be in your safe spots. You see back down when it was over here near Caryville, didn't really look like much. Look at that. No rotation over there near Westville. But then, push this forward, all of a sudden, I pressed the wrong button. All of a sudden, rapidly intensified into a large, extremely dangerous tornado. So it went from 0 to something real quick. So we could be about to see this storm go back to looking like 0, but do not let your guard down there in Rehoboth and Malvern again if this storm does try to, reorganize quickly like it did before. You're not going to have a whole lot of time to go back into your shelter if you decide to, come out of it. So I would just stay there. That's why the tornado warning is still up for your area. If you live in Fayette, Slocomb, Malvern, and Rehoboth here in Alabama, you need to be in your safe spots. Still, just wait until the storm passes over you. Just don't come out, because if it catches you while you're outside of your safe spot, it's not going to be good. Both in Alabama here, yikes! It is yikes. I will say. It's not probably not fun sitting up there in Dothan right now, waiting for this storm to come through. I'm sure you guys are dealing with some anxiety at the moment, but just stay vigilant. You don't need to be in your safe spots yet there in Dothan. We'll let you know when that next tornado warning gets issued, as it will probably include the Dothan area. Any risk on these cells coming into Panama City? Eventually, there are some storms down here, but they are not really they're not really able to mature at this moment. It seems like the main activity that we're dealing with these storms in general are in and along this warm front, which is right in here. That's where most of our mature storms are at the moment. So you do have some rain and thunderstorms coming through, but as of right now, I'm not really seeing any dangerous rotation with them, but that could change. We'll keep on coming back down and checking on those guys periodically, but they're probably going to need some time. Rehoboth. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Yeah, latest scan. Looks like the rotation is not nearly as dangerous, and our debris signature has officially gone away. So this does not appear to be a tornado on the ground anymore as of our latest scans. But again, remember what I just said earlier in this live stream. This is exactly what it looked like right before it tried to make or do, potentially cause a new, I don't know why I'm saying these weird words. I need to focus. This is exactly what it looked like before it produced that strong tornado. And so, am I saying it's going to happen again? No, I am not. It's got really hard to predict what these storms will do. But what I am saying is that you should definitely still be in your safe spots just in case this thing tries to ramp up like it did before. The pattern's there. Will it continue the pattern, or is this the end of the pattern? That is the question. What a crazy flare-up. I agree. I was expecting a couple of brief tornadoes. When I went live this morning, I did not expect to have a long track, strong, an extremely dangerous tornado on the ground. Was not expecting that. And hopefully we don't get another one.
Whoa, no
There we
tornado
go.
warning?
We are back down to radar indicated.
A new
Folks, do not
tornado
let your
warning
guard
has
down.
been issued.
No
Again, this is
tornado
still
warning.
a dangerous storm in a dangerous environment.
I
will
see
let
one
you
on my
know
end.
when it looks like
It
this
does
storm
look
has
like it.
lost all of its marbles. But for now, the environment around it is still worth monitoring and still continuing to be in your safe spots for. So don't let your guard down just yet. Whoa. Did it let this expire? The heck?
There is no
No,
more
it's still there.
tornado warning.
It's like weather-wise glitched out here. Yeah, I'd have to do a refresh. There we go. Yeah,
None of
latest
my
scan
end.
on this storm, still non-threatening looking rotation. But again, just be in your safe spots. Don't let your guard down.
I don't have that.
We just saw this happen. We've seen this happen multiple times. It's produced 3 tornadoes, and it does the same thing every time. I'm really hoping for Dothan's sake that this time is when the pattern breaks, when this storm cannot produce a tornado again. Let me get the cameras ready in the Dothan area. These ones are a little bit annoying. You got to like keep on refreshing them, but our most southern camera is here. Will it load? Okay, it will not load. Let me try another camera further up to its north. I mean, it looks like it should load, but it doesn't. Not sure. Might have to use our news scene. Let me check how that goes on my browser. Might just be OBS being super annoying, which is fine. It's fine. We can get past that if need be, I think. Let me just check.
Refresh this.
No, it's not loading all together. The heck?
There it is. I just had to
What is this
refresh my-
shenanigans? I don't know, man. This is storms doing things that they're not supposed to. Which, you know, it's 2025. How many times have we seen that happen? Oh, you got to click on it? It's that? Okay. They are working now. So let me get that back up and get a view. Apparently, you got to click on it.
Where am I go?
Didn't work. I mean, I just got it to work over here. So I guess we've got to, yeah, this one's working. This is what it looks like in the Dothan area at the moment. Why is that? It's on my screen. Ah. How's that even possible? I'm looking at it. How's it not showing up? I don't know. That is the most confusing thing. See, it's right there. Click on it. Why does it not see it? Browser isn't allowing it to be restreamed? That'll make no sense. I've used those cameras like a billion times. All right, latest scan here on our storm, south of Slocum. Here is our latest velocity scan. Heading up towards Merritt's Crossroads and Rehoboth and Malvern still. Folks need to continue to be in their safe spots there, but the rotation is still on the weaker side. So it doesn't look like this thing has rewrapped back up yet. No chasers out there today. No chasers. Again, I know some of you guys are here because you're actually in this warning, and some of you guys are here for entertainment purposes to see, I guess it's, or I don't even know. Is it? I mean, in my mind, it's not entertainment, but I guess some people want to see a tornado. It's possible. that we see one. But the main thing that we're focused on here is just keeping the folks in this area safe. If I can get you a view, I will, but that's not my main focus. I'm not going to spend hours trying to get that done. Yeah, it's not allowing it to be restreamed, which I don't know how they do that. Let me try one more thing. We'll come over to this view, put up display capture, and we'll capture this one. And then we'll try this. Ow! How does it know? I don't understand. I don't understand the witchcraft behind that. But yeah, it is not letting me show it. I don't understand. Not letting me show it. I'm not sure if it's like I don't understand how that's possible though. That is weird. Reboot? No, it's like I told you guys, like I am looking at the camera. It is on my screen. I can see the cars driving, the rain falling. But as soon as I switch over, it shows the algo signal. It shows my mouse. But for some reason, you guys can't see it. But I'm looking at the cars driving. I'm looking at the rain. It don't make no sense. So I'm not going to spend forever trying to figure out what the heck is going on there. It's just there's something that I have never seen happen before happening, and my brain is not awake enough or smart enough to figure out that problem. No, it's not. It like literally, I can come over. I can come over and look at, live cam chaser from Twitter. Play a video. This is what it looked like in the storm earlier near Ponce de Leon. Like I could watch videos. It's not something other than what specifically to this website. It's like they locked it down. I don't know. Yeah, we've had 3 tornadoes on the ground so far today. Yes. But this tornado, as of right now, is not on the ground anymore. And in fact, its rotation is struggling quite a lot. It seems like these mergers are hurting the storm now more than helping them. You can see this merger is making its way into the storm. Still watching, though, for a southern handoff here as that moves up to the north. Could be streamer hating. It could be. I wonder, it is very possible news organizations might have contacted Algo or the Department of Transportation to lock down those cameras only for them. That could be possible. It'll be the least surprising thing a news organization has ever done. So, Widevine API is blocking you. No. It is not copywritten. That's the thing. It is literally a government website. So I don't know. But I'm not going to focus on it too much. But folks, I got to go get some water. Let me go get that. I haven't drank any water since the beginning of the stream. So let me go do that really quick.